Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. I'm MD Shahriar Parvez, founder and CEO, Independent Perception and Research Hub, Bangladesh. I'm welcoming you all to our program 1200 Seconds, an expert talk show. This is an expert talk show, and in this program, our expert will talk about different kinds of issues, fact related to the society, ethics, morality, education, behavior, overall the SDGs goal. So each and every person feel free, join with us. Independent Perception and Research Hub is an educational research and consultation center for talent researcher and educational scholar to share their perception on different issues and facts. The main goal of IPRH is to enlighten the independent perception of individual thoughts by knowledge sharing, providing research news, training, brainstorming, and research project consultation with innovative ideas, and organizing talk shows with different research people from different areas around the world. So, interested true researcher, scholar are most welcome to join with IPRH and share your innovative ideas and research and contribute to the society, the world as a whole. Because IPRH always believes that knowledge is power. Today, our 1200 second shows the program theme is early childhood education and child neurodevelopment, which is very much important point and topic for I think now in this era, because the parents who are actually developing with their children, then they wants to know about these issues, and without development of child education, it's not possible to prepare or build up a strong generation. And today we have the most talented personalities and expert from India, Dr. Masuda Yasmin, founder and chairman, Global Foundation for Early Childhood Education and Research. So are we just welcoming her to the platform, to the stage? Assalamu alaikum and welcome Dr. Masuda Yasmin to our 1200 program shows. And how are you and how is your days going on nowadays? Please.
Thank you so much, Professor Parvez, for the invitation. And Assalamu alaikum to Bangladesh. And my heartiest wishes for Independent Perception and Research Hub. You are actually doing a very great job and hope you will do greater job ahead. My I'm good and all are going smoothly. All the things are going smoothly and waiting to create an impact in early childhood education.
Thank you so much. We are very much glad to be here that you are actually giving your valuable time to independent perception research up on these important issues nowadays and now eras. So, Dr. Masuda Yasmin is a name actually associated with many activities. You are a teacher, educator, trainer, founder, chairperson. As a successful person, who is your inspiration in your life and why? If you just share with your thoughts with us and with our viewers.
See, my inspiration has always been my parents. My parents always told me that nothing is impossible in this world. You can do anything and everything you if you have the determination. I couldn't back out for any situation because I knew that there was a hand who was there to support me for anything and everything. So definitely I would give this credit that they have been my role models, they have been my source of inspiration, motivation and everything.
Okay. Well, this is very much charming thing that yes, you are gives your credit to your parents. Yes. So now I just ask another important question to you that we want to know more about your study and your education, your family members, because we are a social capital. So, and you are actually working with the children and various types of organization. So, we want to know about your family's members and also your education, your career thing for the next generation inspiration. Please, thank you.
Uh, in my family, I have my husband and I have my two kids. My son is in class 10th and he is 16 years old. And my daughter is 3 year old. 3 year old. And apart from that, in my family, I have my parents, my sisters. This is a small family we have, and a very supportive one indeed. That's why I could actually work or uh, do what I am today. And about my education, I never thought that I would be into education sector ever. In school time, I was a good sports person, and I always thought that I would be becoming some good, or I would do something great in athletics. I was into athletics and I was a national champion also. Suddenly, only when I was in class 12th, I got an accident. And while I was playing my nationals, there was an accident, and I was told by doctor to take a rest of uh, nearly 1 year. I cannot be back to my sports, and that was a turning point. My parents said that you must do medical. I was least interested in medical. After that, they said you can do engineering also, because I had the subject maths bio. So even I was least interested in that. But there was something to pursue for the education, and for my parents shake that why they wanted, I just took up graduation in microbiology. But the subject never fascinated me. I was never very interested in the subject. Uh, After that, I pursued my master's in the same subject. And after master's, I got married. I started my job as a school teacher. I was teaching the higher sections, that is, higher secondaries and secondary classes, that is 9, 10, 11, 12. And but I was least interested, means I was not very keen about the work I'm doing. And what I feel that when you are not interested in the work you are doing, you cannot great in that. And I during my school, when I was posted as a teacher of higher classes, I used to go to the pre-primary classes. I used to watch the classes, how the teachers were taking classes in the pre-primary sections. And that was the time I started talking to them that you can do this thing, you can do this thing, you can make this thing in this way, you can make creative classes. And after that, means after while doing the job, I got married, and I was on a break for few years. And suddenly, a few years later, I started my work, my own preschools, a franchisee one. As I started with the franchisee of a preschool, big brand, and I was loving the work that I was doing. That is, it was something, that is, early childhood education was something that I was in love with. I was 100% dedicated to the work. I was working on every aspect. And while I was working, I was doing the work, I was running my preschool, I found there are certain loopholes in the system, or certain areas which need to be worked out with. That is, there were lack of trained teachers in the sector, lack of trained caregivers in the sector. There was no proper or defined curriculum in the sector. And even the parents and the society was not very much aware of that. So that was a thought in my mind that I have to bring a 360-degree change in this sector. And from there, the dream started. I started my own schools and preschools, that is play schools, we have what we call in India. And while running that, I started to train the teachers also. I did my diploma in child psychology. I did my a PG course in early childhood care and education also, or 2 years diploma in ECC also. And because I want to learn every nook and every bit of ECC. That's why this was an area of my interest. First time I could recognize that this is where I actually want to work on. And after that, during the COVID, I started, because I was doing the teachers training and everything on a very smaller scale with few of the schools. Nearly 40 to 48 schools were there where I was working as an academic consultant, and this was how the work was going on. During the COVID, I found there is a very this is not my problem, this is a problem of almost all the schools, preschools, pre-primary sections across India and across the globe. In fact, there is a global crisis in early childhood care and education. And from there, I started doing my research work, that how I can actually work on this, how I can bring a 360-degree impact in this. And I started with a small team. Now we are working in 12 countries and 22 states of India. And this is the journey all about.
Marvelous, marvelous. And actually, it's one kind of inspirational story you just told, you just shared with us. And yeah, from your childhood, for you have the passion of athletics, and then you just shifted your mind and become
Yes,
a
I was never
faculty as a
determined to be an educationist. I was never a studious child in my school. Yes, though I was a very favorite of my teachers, because the teachers used to love me that time also. Even though I was never the studious child or the first child of the class, but they found me very creative. They were like they found some leadership qualities, so I was the school captain also. But I never thought that I would pursue education as my career ever. And the work I did in early childhood education, when I started with that, became my passion. And passion, determination, and all the hard works are the results.
Definitely, definitely. And for that footstep, you are just now stand on this successful era. So now we just want to know more about the childhood education. So viewers, if you have any kinds of question about today's theme, today's issue, the childhood education or child neurodevelopment, you can ask us, feel free. And there are different kinds of viewers all around the world already joined with us. So welcome to our shows. Dr. Masuda, we have one question to you: that what is actually childhood education and why it is necessary for our children?
Yes. When we call early childhood or foundation, stage of a childhood, the foundational stage of a childhood, it is because it is from 0 years to 8 years. That is, if you see, maximum of the developments takes place in a child during this age. If we start with a child starts turning on the beds, and after that the child learns to sit, learns to stand, crawl, walk, toilet habit, food habits, behavioral habits. And we will do injustice if we don't talk about the brain developments. 90% of the brain development takes place before the age of 6. And if this stage is not taken care of in a proper way, our future generation would be in danger. Because if you see, the world is changing so fast. It's completely a very dynamic world we have seen. If we see the last 20 years of our life, if we notice the changes, how we turned into a digital world, how the AI and robotics came into the classroom, how the space sciences taking the shape, design thinking, everything is a new era, things that need to be. And now a child need not be an engineer, he has to be or she has to be a prompt engineer, because they have to make on spot decisions, on spots they have to be creative. It won't be that they are learning something and just applying. It has to be creative application now, everything. Because in near future robots would be driving all the things, so we
Mhm.
have to produce creators of robot, not the robots.
Mhm.
They have to think in a way that they should be able to instruct them how dynamically they need to change their uh, strategies, their working, their executions. Everything has to be taken care of. And this starts from the, as I told you, the 90% of the brain development takes place before the age of 6. So this age is very critical. If you see a 1.5-year-old child, he finds out find out anything through just uh, voice search in the Google or in YouTube. A child knows all the application. A 1.5-year child knows all the application about how to use a mobile. And we are
Mhm.
still, when a child enters a school, we still start with teaching standing line and sleeping line. Are we doing the justice to them? Because in near future, if you see the scenario of education, it will change a lot in future. Because now if a 1.5-year old child uses his voice applications,
Mhm.
if we are in this generation, we are using maximum of the things. How much of writing work do we do? It's on the mobile phones. We are typing, we are instructing, we are doing the voice typing, or we are just typing it over. So do you think in after 20 years, after 15 years, there would be much requirement of writing works? So,
Mhm.
and still we are focusing, when we talk about early childhood education, we are focusing on writing, writing, and writing. Are we doing the justice? Now we have to think of the 21st century skills that we need to inculcate in our kids: being
Yes.
creative, critical thinking, collaborations, communications. That would be the next demand for in the work profession. And this should start right from the early years.
Definitely, definitely. I'm actually agreed with you because my son is only 4, and he actually know everything in a pumped up or in a mobile or in a tab. So yes, their knowledge actually far more behind from us. So yes, this is the thing that if we are not able to understand them, that how can they will grow up in this era, in this world. So we have another point to ask about one another question to you, that it is essential for parents to learn about the methods of early childhood education, and why.
See, it's not about teaching anything to your parents. Parents are definitely the first teacher of the child. So they are very bothered about their kids. They love their kids. And because the parents spend at school, the child spends hardly 2.5 or 3 hours. A 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid spends maximum 3 hours in a school. And he lives, or she lives at his home for 21 hours. So because, and they parents are the first teacher, as I told you, so they should be aware of all the things that are all the developmental areas that has to be taken care of during this age. That is, they should be focused on the holistic development of the child. It should be motor development, cognitive development, spiritual development, social development, behavioral development, language development, vocabulary development, emotional development, socialization, and everything. The parents should be very much aware of this, because the parenting aspects of 21st century child is also different. As we when we are talking about a 21st century kid, they are like 5G kids.
Mhm.
They are born intelligent. They have something different that in their genes that we had.
Mhm.
So, because the parents are spending 21 hours with them, they should be very much aware about the developmental areas. They should be very much aware to which are the areas they also need to work on. It's not about the teaching methodologies. It's about the holistic development, because early childhood education, as I always say, it is not about teaching ABCD to a 3-year-old child. It is about the holistic development of a child. And this
Definitely.
has to be, yes, because, and in our organization we have a tagline also: I can make a difference, you can make a difference, but together we can create an impact. And this is the collaborative responsibility of parents and teachers to give our child the best childhood, the happiest, the healthiest, and the safest childhood. They should enjoy learning. The age where the child needs, the child starts learning, has to be very joyful. They should, at this age, it is the age where we can create the love for or joy for learning, and that is
Yes.
very vital.
Definitely, definitely. You are actually point out a very vital point for the parents, because the 5G kids actually they manage, so they should know about this thing from their side. So I think today's parents almost very much aware of this thing about their for developing the knowledge and education of their child. So, what do you think that are the appropriate practice that improve the early childhood learning process?
First, the learning process has to be a very creative one. That is, we have to make a pace with the we have to keep a pace with the uh, ever changing world. So at this age, first thing that is required is understanding how vital is the developmental areas, and secondly, it's hands-on working together. We now needs to be more practical about our kids. We need to give them the conceptual education and experiential learning system. That is, the activities that we do in the schools or preschools, they need to be more of experiential learning, and the teachers need to be do more of conceptual teaching instead of rote learning system. It has to be completely changed. We have to work on the socialization of the kid. We need to work on the emotional quotient of the kids, because if you see the maximum uh, of the students when they become doctors, engineers, scientists, we as a teacher, we take the pride that this was my child, this was the student I taught. But do we ever take the responsibility that when the child commits suicide in an age that is university level,
Mhm.
because we couldn't make the child properly, we couldn't give the child a proper emotional development during the early years. We couldn't told the child, we cannot to accept the challenges and fight back.
Mhm.
We couldn't teach the child to that failure is absolutely okay, did
Yes,
we? So we have to work on a very various sectors uh, in early childhood education. It's not about only one or the other thing.
definitely, definitely. So yes, you are absolutely right, because if the child mental development is not prepared from their early childhood situation, then yes, we already face these kinds of situation in the university level also. You just already discussed about this thing, that the suicidal case. So yes, for that reason, it's a very much important issue for the parents and for the society to developing the mentality of the child from their early childhood age. So now I just ask another point of view, that what are the teaching philosophies in the early childhood learning process?
See, every child is unique, and we cannot have a definite system or definite curriculum or teaching methodology that is applicable to every child. A child, it need not be, the classroom need not be a curriculum driven classroom. It has to be a child centric classroom. We need to, as a teacher, as a facilitators, we need to understand the needs and requirements of the child, and every child is unique, and we have to work on every child differently.
Mhm.
It's about
So
creating connections,
mhm,
because all the methodologies fail if we couldn't create the connection between a child and a teacher. The best of the
definitely,
methodology, best of the curriculum won't work if the
definitely.
connection is not.
Definitely, because so far in my 15 years teaching life in the tertiary level of education, so I just observe that each and every class actually, if it is a non-cooperative class, then student actually will not showing their interest. So it's a that the both side cooperation must needed. So you are absolutely right on that point. So now in this moment, lots of viewers all around the world with us. We have Faiza, one of eminent speaker from Bangladesh, and she just tell that it is a very vital topic to reflect on, and very insightful discussion, Dr. Masuda and Shahriar Parvez. So thank you, Faiza, for your beautiful that is comments, and we hope that you will with us. So our next point is here, that what is important to a child neurological development at their early stage or at their early age.
Yes. Though we have the 5G kids, maximum of the kids are 5G, but uh, as we were talking about, but if you find there is so much, we can find many kids with autism, delayed development. There are learning disabilities in a child that we see in last year that has increased many folds. If you have noticed this,
Mhm.
so it becomes very vital, because early childhood care starts from prenatal care. It has to be a mom taken care of in a proper way, free from radiations, a stress free, and a, like it's something prenatal care has to be properly taken off.
Okay. So I think you are absolutely right, because nowadays so many parents actually suffering these kinds of thing, that they have their children has this type of problem. Actually, they are observed when they are just bringing in their early child situation. Now, what is neurological weakness in children, and how can a teacher resolve it?
See, there are different methodologies which can be worked upon on. If we say a special child, an autistic one, or with learning disabilities, it's a problem which can't be treated 100%, but with proper efforts of teachers and with proper efforts of educators and of the parents, we can make the child live a normal life. Nearly 90% of the normal life can be, they can behave as a normal kid. Yes, 100% treatment is not yet possible, but there are things which can be worked upon on. They need special care, they need special methods, special attention in the classrooms also. And they had to be included in the different activities as a normal kid.
Definitely, because so far I already know about the Bloom's taxonomy, and I already taught in this Bloom's taxonomy in my classroom. So here, where the Bloom's actually define that not each and every children actually doing the same work, so they have the differentiate thing on from their own mind, and some of have the psychomotor stage. They are some wants to become expert in a singing or in a music. So I think as a faculty, as a teacher, we can actually develop our child in our classroom in that way. So now we go a little bit deeper issue that can a child control his or her own emotion? And what is hyperactive child and how can parents handle them?
Yes, this is a very good question. That is controlling a hyperactive child. And what was the second question that you asked?
The first question is, can a child control his or her own emotion?
Yes, it's not about controlling the emotions, it's about expressing the emotions.
Okay.
As we become like how we express it and how balanced in a express the emotions in a very balanced way. That is
Mhm.
very vital.
Okay.
And
And
second,
and another point is, what is hyperactive child and
yes, yes,
how
yes.
can parents? Yes.
Yes. uh, I'm talking about a kid, a child comes to the classroom, he beats a child, he or she runs around, the child shouts a lot, and we feel this child is a hyperactive child. The first thing I would tell that a hyperactive child is someone who can be a good learner because they are very curious if they are
Mhm.
guided in a proper way,
Mhm.
but we have to give them logics instead
Mhm.
of making them instead of controlling them. If we try to control them, it's not going to work,
Okay.
because how the child learns the things, if we are thinking the child is doing misbehaviors, he's not behaving properly, think of this place from where he might have learned from, somewhere
Mhm.
back at home or somewhere at school. The child may have observed his or her teacher or a parent reacting when the child was throwing tantrums at house or was crying for a toy. The father might have given the child a slap. And the
Mhm.
child, when he goes to the school, he or she reacts that uh, uh,
Mhm.
when he dislikes any activity, he slaps another child. But
Mhm.
little do we think that he might have learned or observed it from us only, as an educator, as a parent. He would have learned this from these traits from us, instead of uh, and we try to make the child keep quiet, don't do this, don't do this, and we don't try to give the logics. Why shouldn't the child cry for the chocolates, or
Mhm.
why shouldn't the child throw tantrums? What are the
Mhm.
basic needs, and what is the difference between needs and wants? Financial literacy, I'm talking about.
Mhm.
So we are, as a parent, as a teacher, we fail somewhere. We lack the things that we cannot actually train the child. uh, we cannot give the child a proper logic of not behaving in a inappropriate way.
Okay. It's a very much important thing. I think lots of parents understand your viewpoint that hyperactive child are very much attentive and curious. So it's a very and
They
if the
learn
parents
more
yes.
by observation. They learn more by observation.
Mhm. And another point I just learned from you that if the parents or the faculty or the teacher, if they give them logic and attention on them, then they will give a better thing. They just
Output, yes.
the
We can get a better
output.
output.
That is called yes, the better output they can shows us. So another point is here that you already talk about it, but I just want to know a little bit more about it. That what is autism and how is autism actually different from other neurodevelopmental disorders?
Uh, autism is autism is a condition. It's also a neuro disorder,
Mhm.
but it's not just about neuro disorder. It's there is a brain development that couldn't take place appropriately. These are slow learners, and
Mhm.
secondly, their motor skills are also not properly developed.
Okay. Mhm.
And if you see other neuro disorders, the symptoms may be
Mhm.
different.
Mhm.
It may not be
Okay.
together combination of uh, behavioral problems, it and motor development together.
Mhm. We understand.
Yes.
So now we just ask a very vital question to you that what are the activities of your organization for child development?
We conduct awareness sessions, we conduct teachers training programs, we have an association that is working to create a that is working on 360-degree of early childhood care and education. And we are awarding and rewarding the change makers. And it's we are working hands on hands with we are trying to work hands with the government and other international bodies also.
Definitely very fantastic because so far I always observe that you are so much busy with your organization conference, doing different kinds of seminars, different kinds of conference. Always you are busy with that work. So I think your organization are actually doing lots of things for child development, and we hope that IPRH will also contribute if your organization and IPRH if they are collaborate with each other about this issues because this is a very vital issue and without the child development it's not possible to achieve the SDGs goal so far I observe from my heart. So we are almost into our program and now we want to know about your power message for our viewers.
Yes, as I earlier told, I can make a difference, you can make a difference, but together we can create an impact. And definitely if we work together collaboratively, we will definitely make an impact, and a stronger impact.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Masuda Yasmin, with for contributing and give your valuable time to this 1200 second the expert talk shows. And today's topic already we mentioned that early childhood development and neurodevelopment, and it's a very much important topic so far I concern. And from you we learned so much thing about these issues. So we hope that IPRH hope that in future we will conduct a seminar, webinar on only on that issue. And we again inviting you such a brilliant personalities and expert for on childhood development. So it is our pleasure that you are being with us in this moment. So I give another heartful thank to you, a big thank to you that you are being here. So I from IPRH, I am giving my thanks to you, and we hope that in future you will again with us in our
Sure,
any
would
other
love
program we
to,
have.
and thanks to actually IPRH for taking this initiative and bringing this topic in 1200 seconds talk show. And best wishes to IPRH and Parvez sir, to you also. Hope you are doing good and you will do greater.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dear viewers, today's topic was already you heard that about the childhood education and child development, neurological development, and with us, Dr. Masuda Yasmin actually with us, and you know more about this thing from her, and I think it's a very important issues because we are the parents, so we must concern about the development, mental development of our children. Otherwise, it's not possible for us to become a successful parents if we don't understand the mentality of our children. So each and every parents, you are the first teacher of your children. So you must do very much take care and very much observation for your children development at the early age. We are already our expert mentioned that the year 1 to year 6. So this is the brain development thing. So I think yeah, from today's session you understand little bit more about the childhood, early childhood development and child neurodevelopment. So thank you so much being with us. We will be here again with in a new expert, a new show with a new topic with a new expert. So till then, be happy, be healthy, and always be with us and follow our YouTube channel and also our Facebook official channel. And I am your host, MD Shahriar Parvez, always with us. So thank you so much. Goodbye.